where 4 hostages lost their lives. Several people close to the suspects remain in custody. Investigators are now trying to hone in on Amedy Coulibaly's partner, Ayat Boumediene, though her possible role remains unclear. Police believe that she and Sherif Kouachi's wife exchanged some 500 phone calls in recent months.
The investigation will now have to determine if any accomplices may have helped them, how these criminal activities were financed, the origin of those weapons used, and any help they may have got in France, abroad, or also in Yemen.
In a statement given to France 24, Al-Qaeda's branch in Yemen claimed responsibility, saying the group's leadership directed the attack and chose Charlie Hebdo as a target. At least one of the Kouachi brothers is believed to have gone to the country in 2011 to train and fight with Al-Qaeda. Yemeni authorities have also opened an investigation.
Well, as the investigation goes on, many questions, of course, are being asked at
we
this moment. And
go back to my... we're trying to go to the top.
The co-founder of the European Strategic Intelligence and Security Center. Thank you for speaking with us. Now, firstly, let's go over really events that we saw take place yesterday. It was really quite an unprecedented event here in Paris, where we had 2 hostage situations taking place simultaneously. Of course, the ultimate call came with French President François Hollande to move in. What do you make of the timing and the fact that the hostage situations did not go on for hours?
I think actually the situation was extremely difficult to run, because you had 2, as you just said, you had 2 different places located 20, 25, 30 kilometers away, one from another, and linked. And the police know that if they try to make an intervention at 30 kilometers of Paris, hostage could be killed in Paris. So it was extremely difficult, but actually police hadn't a choice. The choice was the choice of the terrorists. When the 2 Kouachi brothers came out of the factory and opened fire on the police, they've been killed, and immediately, in a question of maybe less than 1 minute, the attack was ordered on the grocer shop in Paris. So I think, basically speaking, the intervention of the French police was a good operation, but they didn't choose the moment, which is, of course, a tactical problem.
Well, then you mentioned in the SWAT teams, of course, everyone involved there. Many people here in Paris have been commending, of course, the officials, authorities. We heard from the French Prime Minister really commending all the security forces involved here. Focus now is turning, of course, to the intelligence teams involved in all of this. One of the major questions is the fact that these 2 brothers, at least in terms of the Kouachi brothers, they were known to U.S. officials as well as French officials, and that they essentially fell off the grid for some 3 years.
Yes, but I think this is not the first priority. Very clearly, the first priority now is to catch Mrs. Saya Boumediene first. Secondly, to assess if there is any other active cell or imminent threats on Paris or other places in France or maybe in Europe. And thirdly, there is something extremely difficult.
Millions of tweets.
We have two claims for this action here.
Nothing in this is Moscow.
Mr. Coulibaly, and one from Al-Qaeda in Yemen.
Western,
from the 2 brothers.
Eastern
Actually,
USA.
those organizations, Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State, were enemies until now. If this double claim means that they decide a kind of joint venture and to act together, no, we have to know it extremely quickly, because it could change the security situation. And of course, after that, we have to assess
the terrorists, they were shot and dead now.
Wrong
so
in intelligence. It's clear that mistakes have been made.
There's no more tweets.
What do you think the likelihood? It appears to be, of course, we've heard from other analysts say that the likelihood of Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State organization working together, that doesn't really appear to be the case. The fact that perhaps the link between these hostage situations were more on a personal level, considering one of the 2 gunmen, they actually shared a cell in prison together.
Okay, this is my...
This is exactly...
then I was looking at oil prices.
I agree that it could be based on a personal link, a personal relationship between the 2 groups. Koulibaly in one hand and the two Kouachi brothers in the other.
This is the latest oil prices is below 50.
Al-Qaeda in Yemen or Al-Qaeda in the Arabic Peninsula is the most important and most active branch of Al-Qaeda today. And we know, in my organization, ACIS, we found text on this 2 years ago. We know that there are enormous tensions inside Al-Qaeda, between the top of Al-Qaeda, al-Zawahiri and his followers, and people on the road in Somalia or in Yemen. If those tensions, maybe those tensions have pushed Al-Qaeda in Yemen to join the Islamic State, because today this is the Islamic State which is running the newspaper, not running the newspaper, but making the cover of the newspaper. So I think very seriously we cannot just say no. It's just a question of personal link. It could be something else, and we must know it, of course.
Of course, you said that right now the priority is to find the suspect, the female suspect that is currently on the run. What, moving forward, what do you think needs to be, if any, if you believe, any changes that are made in terms of France's anti-terrorism laws or measures?
Oh, this is a long video.
It's clear that,
it's
first of all,
2.5 hours.
Clear underestimation of the dangerosity of those people.
Longest video ever.
The Kouachi brother in the other hand. Secondly, we have a problem with following people after they finish to serve their time in jail for terrorist action. Those people went out of jail, they seemed to be quiet, and after 2 or 3 years maybe, they fell under the radar. And one of them at least was able to go to Yemen. To think that someone linked to terrorism with a brother who was convinced for terrorism could go
and
to
I'm
Yemen,
looking at the oil. The Greenland is Denmark.
Any problem is disturbing.
So this big island belongs to my country, Denmark. This is the North Pole. Denmark owns the North Pole.
I can't believe, I can't understand how someone like Koulibaly,
I was looking last night, I need to relax, so I was looking at oil prices.
This is absolutely crazy. So it's very clear, we must fix problems and change something. But I'm afraid by one point, actually 3 years ago, when we had the Mohamed Merah affair, we had similar problems. And it was said that
it's very impressive, this petrol plants.
Nothing has been done to fix the problems.
Gazprom, they have oil fields in North Kurdistan.
Thank you for joining us here. Well, once again, a female suspect is on the run, and investigators are trying to find out, firstly, where she is, to locate her, and exactly more about her story at this moment. This is what we know.
Armed, dangerous, and on the run. That's how French authorities describe Ayat Boumediene, believed to be the accomplice of Montrouge and Vincennes shooter Amedy Koulibaly. Police say she was also in regular contact with the Kouachi brothers, the presumed shooters at Charlie Hebdo.
L'épouse de Shérif Kouachi.
The wife of Shérif Kouachi made more than 500 phone calls in the year 2014 to Koulibaly's partner, Ayat Boumediene. This helps us establish that there was a permanent and strong link between the two couples.
26-year-old Boumediene married Koulibaly in a religious ceremony in 2009, though they never had a legally recognized civil union. Photos published by the French paper Le Monde appear to show the couple's increasing radicalization, including training to learn how to use weapons. Boumediene was reportedly fired from her job as a supermarket cashier because she insisted on wearing the full-length niqab. She lived in a poor suburb south of Paris, joined by Koulibaly last spring when he was released from jail.
She's of Arab origin, completely veiled except her eyes.
While authorities continue their investigations, they're still looking for Boumediene, for now, France's most wanted woman.
That was Kate Moody reporting there. Now there are larger jihadist organizations ordering the terrorist attacks that hit Paris this week. That is one of the main questions, and authorities they've linked Al-Qaeda and to the Kouachi brothers, but the extent of that connection, that's what's trying to be determined. France 24's Solange Mougin takes a closer look.
Surrounded by French police and holed up in a
nu
print
se,
shop,
der er også
Sharif
en dag i
Kouachi
morgen.
picked up the phone. One of the terrorists of the Charlie Hebdo attacks, he was contacted by a French news channel, BFM.
We have
Sharif said he'd been sent by Al-Qaeda's branch in
put
Yemen,
the
and that
sound
his trip
off.
to the Gulf
And we have Grøn planet, der vise klar.
Himlen venter vores komme. Alle stjernerne står tomme. Så! Lad os flyve til en grøn
planet. Oh, sorry, it was a bit music. We are back.
And they won't live in fear. Now there will be a number of foreign heads of state travelling to Paris to take part, to literally, if you like, stand by France. We know that British Prime Minister David Cameron, German Chancellor Angela Merkel, as well as Italy's Matteo Renzi, and indeed Jean-Claude Juncker, just a few. The leader of the Netherlands, Luxembourg, they're all saying that they're going to come and take part. This protest.
It's a long video. It's a 2.5 hour now.
Towards a Nation in the afternoon, basically a show standing together, unity, as you say. The president wants.
You're not losing power. I go to the bathroom.
And a lot of politicians here say.
I'll be right back.
In any political role, people are coming as citizens to
Republic will win out in the end.
It's Eve Irvine reporting there from the French presidential palace here in Paris. Well, of course, the recent events here in the French capital, they unfolded on the television screens and on computer screens as firstly, the attack in Charlie Hebdo was filmed by journalists on the roof, amateur video footage. And in the few days since, we've seen non-stop rolling images on the screen, and many here are asking how to speak of the recent events with their children. Of course, children affected as its parents are talking about it, children wanting to know really what is going on, and parents looking for ways to reassure their children. Well, earlier, I spoke with Olivier Gasselin, editor-in-chief of the newspaper Mon Quotidien. That's a paper for children, and I spoke to him about current events.
We made a different special issue about this event for our young readers of different age, because we have three different newspapers, Le Petit Quotidien, Quotidien Lecture, and we have an educational or pedagogical mission against violence to explain our readers the world in what they are living. So we cannot avoid even such tragic events.
Back.
It was the thing for the World Trade.
I have this jacket. I will put on my body. As a reporter, you need to have a real glasses.
Yes, it was important to explain what are the French values that we talk about the big historical dates of press freedom, of expression freedom, and what is a democracy, and all these values we can share. And
Jacket on. I'm too fat. But this is how I look like. This is toilet paper I use. I don't have, so I put toilet paper in my pocket. Oh, so I'm start to get a bit drunk.
Children and teacher, on what way they were talking about that. What image of that?
But
the children knew what happened.
this is Mongo TV from Denmark. I'm your host, John Olsen. I'm happy to join you.
Not only Muslim, also Catholics, also politics. It's a fight.
Let's see.
Against stupidity, and and it was something that
put the mouse
could understand.
out.
And the
I
children.
put some music on this computer, but I put the camera back
They really
back again here.
And
I'll be right back.
Of today, we have
I need some music.
to give them, and the emotional part is also important. The teacher need to take the children. Don't be afraid.
To reassure them.
Yes, we are in a democracy. There are some policemen. You are in security, because it's important not to shock for shocking, but just to explain the situation. Because it's our rule, we cannot let with question without answers.
It's on a personal anecdote, actually. It's very interesting that you say really the choice of words. I know my 6-year-old daughter on Thursday, when she came home from school, I didn't at first understand her, because she said, "Mom, there were hors la loi that killed 12 journalists," and also she said 12 journalists, which of course it's not 12 in its entirety, it's 8, but I didn't understand her, and for our viewers, hors la loi, that's outlaws, and that's a very interesting choice, because of course for a 6-year-old perhaps they don't know what a terrorist is, they do not know what a jihadist is, a jihad movement, so it's true to put things into terms and to really give the actual definition here. We can take a look perhaps.
Get back. I put called P3. The speaker is a lot better on this, but I forgot my mouse, so I have to go back.
No, it's the contrary. We have a lot of reaction of teacher and parents. They thank us to give them material with what they can talk with their children on bring some answers.
We can check sound of computer
with,
here.
as you mentioned, with Charles, who was our.
We take sound off. I plug my mouse.
And it's him who invents the mascots of our daily newspaper, Cotillon and Rognon, and we want to make.
It's still running. We have a better. This is old speakers, but they are a lot better. So it's called P3 Radio. And we back live and reporting from outside Copenhagen. It's empty. Make a bit more. Oops. It's called Fish. It's a strong alcohol. It's like a whiskey. It's Saturday, and I just play music, but it's a bit loud, but I should maybe close the door a bit, so because we're playing music. We'll close the door a bit. So, but it's Saturday, so the door, I have closed the door. So, cheers. Have a good Saturday.
Jeg har lidt på nakken, for min seng, den savner jeg godt nok. Men jeg kan ikke købe noget, jeg har den på.
I think we
Ja, hvis jeg bare havde